Hello, everybody, and welcome to VFR. Today, we are here taking a look at the Midway International Airport by Giuseppe Designs. You see us on approach from a flight from Minneapolis and our Delta/Endeavor CRJ 700 landing on runway 4 right into Chicago Midway. So this is a really cool, fun airport. It's kind of old school. It has a heavy Southwest presence, which is great for any 737 enthusiasts who might be looking to fly somewhere in the near future, but also has a strong regional jet presence too. And the scenery, Giuseppe Designs does a great job with all the sceneries and really elevates the experience, I think, especially from the air side. So right along, we're going to take a look at how this airport's laid out, what the scenery brings you, and what else you can do with it while you're flying. Chicago Midway Airport opened in the early 20s. In 1927 became Chicago Municipal Airport, and it was Chicago's main airport until 1955 when Chicago O'Hare opened. O'Hare being, if downtown Chicago is right there, O'Hare is out that way. Now, during that time, a lot of the jet traffic, big jet traffic, and the jet age emerging at that time moved over to O'Hare where they had longer runways. Midway retained a lot of the smaller airlines. ATA was one big one for a long time at Midway. Nowadays, it's a Southwest-focused city. Southwest carries over 95% of the traffic into and out of Midway Airport, followed by a little sliver of Delta. Delta and their regional carrier Endeavor, which will operate flights mostly to Atlanta and Minneapolis-St. Paul. There are also some SkyWest flights as well as a significant corporate aviation presence. Now, the destinations domestically out of Chicago Midway, top was Orlando, Florida. Las Vegas, Nevada was second. Phoenix Sky Harbor third. And Atlanta, Georgia fourth, followed a little bit more distantly by Denver. All these above 300,000 passengers per year, except for Denver. So a lot of Southwest network flights, but you also see the Delta strong points of Atlanta and Minneapolis if you look at the top 10 as well. International destinations are dominated by two, Toronto, Canada, Billy Bishop Airport, and Cancun, Mexico. Now, the weather in Chicago. Chicago is a big Midwestern city on the Great Lakes. It gets pretty cold in the winter, and we have hot and humid summers. If you look at the wind direction and speed over time, winds generally are going to be out of the southwest and west, with a slight, with an alternate coming out of the east as well. Again, these are kind of plots that show the relative frequency of winds during the year 2021 from historical METAR data. So the winds generally out of the west-southwest, you'll see 200 or 190, 210, or as far as 270. And then occasionally you'll also see a significant chunk of days being winds 040, 050, 060, out to 090, really. So the scenery itself, Midway, to give you an overview, is organized by like a big square. We have 5 runways. Crossing right to left, we have runway 31 right, 31 left, and 31 center. So 31 center is the big long one there, and 31 right is slightly shorter, but still pretty big off to the right of it. And then we have a little small runway for light aircraft only, 31 left or 13 right. So the alternate crossing runways are 4 right and 22 left, and 4 left, 22 right. Again, 4 right, 22 left is going to be the longer runway of that direction. And 22 right, 4 left is going to be for a shorter runway for smaller jets and general aviation primarily. Now, Midway is somewhat unique in its runways because it's just surrounded by all this built-up area. Houses on all 4 sides, lots of built-up, developed area. And you saw it was coming over train tracks. Again, it's in the middle of this, not in the middle of the city, but it's in the middle of relatively built-up areas. So we have these very large thresholds at each end of each runway, which severely limits the total usable length of each runway. Ultimately, what that means is that you're going to be restricted. You're not going to see big jumbo jets coming in here. It's going to be mostly 737s, CRJs, regional jets like that. and at most, generally a 757 coming into land here. Now, again, the runways, there's physically more asphalt, but these large thresholds offset the touchdown point to help with keep airplanes higher over the houses and neighborhoods around the airport. Now, obviously, Midway is organized in a square. On the east side, we have the main terminal. And again, this is the scenery by Drzecki Designs, which does a good job of populating a lot of Southwest airplanes. Again, 95% of the traffic is Southwest, so 43 gates in the main terminal. Most of them are going to be Southwest aircraft and Southwest gates. So you do have that, and that's perfect if you're looking for somewhere to fly a potential hypothetical 737. That might come soon, who knows. You do have some gates that are marked for Delta here. In this area in the center. Again, I can't attest for the realism. I haven't been to Midway myself, but you do have several gates marked out for the Delta jets as well. Those Delta and Endeavor jets. If you're flying a CRJ, that would be where you'd go. You also have some more unmarked gates over here on the far side. So in the terminal, it's a big U. So you have these two taxiways going into the ramp, and then you will have basically the ramp area spits out onto the taxiways, which will then spit you into the network of crossing runways. So if you're flying this airport on VATSIM, charts will be very helpful because, again, lots of crossing runways, lots of crossing taxiways. And in that respect, Midway is a very old school airport. Lots of different crossing runways. These are generally fallen out of favor at most newer international airports, where the favored design for big jets is lots of long parallel runways. So next we turn to the south ramp. Here is where the control tower is, as well as the GA ramp, the Atlantic FBO, for some general aviation and business aviation, and also the Illinois Air National Guard has a base here for flying UH-60 Blackhawks. One of the things that Drzecki Designs does a really good job of is the interior detail. And one place where I do like a lot of interior detail is a good tower shot. And it's kind of crazy all that they've crammed in here, but it gives you a really great perspective on the airport from the tower view. This would be just perfect to watch VATSIM with some good model matching out of the tower here. But it does give you a good sense of what you can see from the tower and what's going on in that space. So again, over here we have the Atlantic FBO, a place for private jets. If you wanted to fly, again, the CRJ, you could do that for a private jet, or your CJ4s. This would be one point of departure that you could go to. The other FBO is over that way. So coming out to the west side of the airport now, these are more primarily charter jets, private jets, your CJ4s, your Citation Longitudes, Gulfstreams, things like that, your Challengers, which, again, a CRJ could stand in for. But here's the signature FBO here, and you have a number of different hangars that you can play around with as well. All really nicely modeled, and it does add a lot of good detail to the other areas of the airport that you maybe wouldn't see so much if you were just flying your regular jets in and out. So definitely well modeled, and it does add a lot of good interest coming into land. I'm a sucker for a good hangar. And last but not least, we have the north ramp. This is where a lot of the Southwest maintenance facilities are. So you have several towers where Southwest performs maintenance on 737s and does whatever other work they need to keep their fleet running. This is, again, Midway is a Southwest focus city. Chicago's the largest Southwest focus city. And again, Midway is the hub for all of that operation. So again, hub with quotation marks, because Southwest isn't a hub and spoke airline, but it is one of the places where you will do a lot of the 737 servicing, and you can see all the ground vehicles staged here. So again, without a 737, this would be a perfect place for a 737 if you were interested in some Southwest ops, hypothetically, if anything was coming out in the near future. And you get some really nice details here, like them working on one of the engines on this 737. It looks like 737-800. But again, there's a lot of really cool scenes like this throughout the airport as they work on airplanes. It just really helps bring the airport to life, I think, in a really cool way from a distance and up close. So returning to the terminal here on the east side of the airport, obviously there is road access, I-55, and the Chicago L trains come here on the orange line, which these trains will take you down to downtown. This is the end of the line, and you follow the trains all the way down, and that is downtown Chicago that way. So it does have rail connection to the rest of the area, and again, this is all pretty nicely modeled in the actual sim. So you can definitely pick out these rail yards and a lot of these station aspects as you come into the airport, especially on approach. And again, it's a really cool looking feature, and the models of the buildings look really great from this kind of distance. So sticking to the air side for the moment, again, you get a lot of ground clutter around these, particularly Southwest branded tugs and baggage carts. This is gate Bravo 14. Again, most gates are going to be Southwest gates, but and they're marked out for your 737s for the most part. And you do have markings, and all the spots are labeled, which is a nice help on VATSIM. Now, if you come over to the Delta areas, you do have also slightly different markings, different, less ground equipment, but some Delta branded ground equipment, and a CRJ. So if that's something you're interested in, if you do like the Delta regional ops, you definitely have a home here. And again, there's a lot of good support equipment around, and it really helps bring the terminal area to life. So another important touch is, how does it look at night? That's something that to me really separates a lot of really good sceneries, freeware and payware, from default airports. And again, the night lighting on the terminal is really great. Around each gate, you have it well lit up in a convincing fashion. It'll help you navigate at night. It is really hard to dive into some default airports where it's just pitch dark all the way up to the gate. So you'll see your gate coming, but go out into the rest of the airport, and again, there's taxiway lights that are not right in the middle of things. It helps a lot navigating, just looking around too with the night lighting. So focusing on the terminal here, but of course there are also some rotating beacons that you will see on the Southwest hangars over there as well. And you will also see all the lighting in those hangars too, which again is a nice feature, and it really helps the airport look better at night. So that's one of the biggest things that any scenery can do, any add-on scenery can do to make an airport look better than a default, is that night lighting. Now, it almost goes without saying, but taxiways and runway markings and hold short locations are all modeled as they are in the real airport, which is, again, huge if you're on VATSIM and you can look out the window and know what you're seeing is correct. I haven't explored the original handcrafted Midway too terribly much, but an airport this complex with this many crossings and this many taxiways that you're navigating through, it's good to have those and all the taxiway diagrams and lights and signs accurate to what you're seeing in the real thing. So that's definitely a big plus. Again, it kind of goes without saying on a payware airport, but it is an important aspect nonetheless if you're interested in this airport. So why might you want to spend your hard-earned cash on recreating Midway in Sim? Well, obviously, there's one kind of future promise and one kind of current operational profile that you can do. The current one, if you have the CRJ and you enjoy flying Delta jets, Delta has a presence here. So if you want to fly realistically, but you could even fly United or American jets in CRJs into Midway, it's a good CRJ place to fly into. So you do have those regional gates, and that's fairly realistic for any brand of CRJ that you want, your 700, your 550, your 1000 if you had a 200 kicking around. But that's the regional jet. I think it's a good regional jet airport if you're interested in that. Obviously, the future one is 737 if you want to fly 737s. Well, Southwest is a 737 only airline, so you'll have a heavy 737 presence here at Midway. So if you did want to base out of the Midwest flying 737s a lot of the time, Midway would be a good place to do it from. It's also a cool place to fly your private jet from, your CJ4, or general aviation as well. I mean, if you wanted to fly around the Chicago area and navigate again, it's a big airspace with a lot of big airports around it. O'Hare is, again, just a few miles off to the other side, and you have downtown Chicago that way. So it is definitely a very interesting place if you wanted to fly VFR, either realistically or not realistically with correct airspaces. And but it is a good busy airport that you could practice some VFR stuff at as well. Now, what do you need to know about this one? Obviously, there are not ILS approaches on all the runways. You'll have to look at the charts. For the most part, it looks like, I think it's 4 right and was a 1-3 center. The long runways are going to be the ones you're mostly using for those procedures. But again, always just follow the procedures, look up the charts. If you have a VATSIM account, ChartFox will have all those charts, or SkyVector has charts for Midway as well. Taxi charts, if you're flying on VATSIM, are going to be a definite must. The other thing, this airport is fairly performance intensive. It's not the easiest airport to run. I'm obviously adding on some stuff, doing recording as well as running it. If I'm running it without recording, I get a lot better frames, but it does start to push my graphics card, and I have a 3070, so not the highest end of the line by any stretch of the imagination. But yeah, it'll take a pretty good system to run it real smoothly. But again, if you're not recording and doing a bunch of other stuff, it's mostly okay. All right, so we are here in our trusty CSJ4 on the west ramp with all the other private jets we just pulled out of the hangar, started up our engines. We're going to be flying down to Indianapolis, KIND. Real quick, short flight, departing off of runway 4. We're going to fly the Midway 6 departure out to Earned. The waypoint, this should just be all vectors from our perspective. From ATC, we'll vector ourselves. And to get to that from the west ramp, we're going to taxi via Foxtrot, Whiskey, Victor Cross, runway 4 left. All right, so we're taxiing out onto 4 right now. We're going to basically take off, climb out, go up to 250 knots, and then we'll vector ourselves out of here. So as always, thanks for coming along on this exploration of Midway. I really like sceneries that you can use for fun things. And this is one of them. I think it has a lot of potential for the sim. It goes well, I think, with the really nice KDCA that Drzecki Designs has done. So it's all in all just a fun thing to fun place to fly to. Interesting, unique airport in a really cool place.
Altitude.
And we're away. Gear come up. Flaps up. And away we go.